The old house was beautiful, a sprawling Victorian with high ceilings and enough rooms to raise an entire family in. And when the mortgage finally came through, the young family moved right in. They brought their furniture, their decorations, their lives, and they started to settle in. But almost immediately, strange things started to happen. Every time they closed a door, the layout of the house shifted slightly. The hallway they had just been walking down stretched out longer and longer until it seemed to go on forever. Or the staircase they had just come up turned back on itself, forcing them to climb up a spiral of stairs that had not been there before. Or they'd be in one room and then suddenly it would be as if it were an entirely different room with different wallpaper and curtains and furniture. Sometimes they'd find doors in the walls that led to rooms that had no furniture. Only an endless expanse of wallpaper and a window that looked out onto nothing but darkness. At first, they thought they were losing their minds, but then the daughter vanished. It had been a normal day. They had breakfast as a family, the husband and wife talking about work while their little girl drew pictures at the table. Then they all went about their business. The husband went out to work in his study. The wife went out to water the garden, and the daughter went out to play. But when the husband came out of his study, the wife was nowhere to be seen. And when he found her in the garden, she was kneeling by the flower beds with tears streaming down her face. "I couldn't find you," she said. "I called your name, but all I heard was my own voice repeating after me." Then she looked down at her hands and realized they were covered in dirt. "I was looking for her," she said, "but all I found was this." She held up a drawing. The kind of drawing only a child could make. It was a picture of the house, or rather a picture of the house from above, like a floor plan. And in the middle of the house, right where their daughter's room was, there was a big X drawn in crayon. They searched the house, calling their daughter's name, but they could only hear their own voices repeating back to them. And when they finally found her, she was in a room that had not been there before. It was a small dark room with 4 peeling wallpaper and a single window that looked out onto a brick wall. And standing in the middle of the room was a rocking horse that wasn't theirs and that their daughter had never seen before. But she wasn't scared. In fact, she was smiling. "Can we keep him?" she asked, reaching out to touch the horse. But her parents were too frightened to answer. They didn't know what was happening. They didn't know who put the rocking horse there or why or how to get it out. And worst of all, they didn't know if their daughter would be safe. And then the horse started to rock.